think I've told you, like, since my transformation and since doing the show, doing the marathon, people cannot stop talking to me about fitness now. I mean, I get messages on Facebook, Instagram, people at work always mention something about fitness. And we've talked also, it kind of makes me worried about becoming, I don't want to lose my identity on who I am. But it's like they never just come out and say what they mean. It's like they'll be like, "Oh, you're going for another run," or, "Oh, what do you do to work out?" Or, "I need to work on my diet as well." Or, like, especially if I'm eating a lot, what I am now, they'll comment on how much I'm eating and then say, like, "How do you have a physique like that, but you're eating so much?" Um, and I think it's because they're insecure and they know they need to make a change, but they won't just communicate that. And I don't know what your experience with that. Have you experienced the same thing, or especially with coaching, or maybe not, just talking with people?
Yeah. As far as, like, general fitness questions go, those are really, really tough. So, like,
Mhm.
I've always found, like, if someone asks me, like, a one-liner, like, what do you this has happened multiple times from people that I've just bumped into at the gym. "What do you eat? How do you eat?" It's
Very
like,
detailed.
yeah, it's like, "Well, where do you want me to go with this?" Like, I almost, like, don't know how to answer that. I don't know what they're looking for sometimes. It's like, "Do you want me to, like, break down
Mhm.
my calories? Do you want me to, like, let you know, like, when I have higher calories, when I have lower calories, like, what foods I'm eating, what my protein breakdown is?"
Yeah.
And if so, like, why do you like, are you just curious to know, like, what I'm doing? Are you trying to apply what I do for yourself? And then
Mhm.
I struggle with that because my approach is kind of personal to me. Not personal in the sense like I don't want to share it. Have I'm
Yeah.
perfectly happy with sharing it with everyone, but it's like it's personal in the sense that it is appropriate for me in my context and it probably isn't for you in your context. It's cool if
Mhm.
you're trying to take some principles and learn from it, but hopefully if your thought process is for me to tell you and then you to copy it, that's probably not the best idea. So I
Yeah.
struggle with those kind of big questions and also too like those kind of questions where someone asks a big broad question and like you just need more context to be able to
Mm.
answer big questions
Mhm.
properly. So I don't know like if someone comes up to you and is like, "Man, I wish I was in more shape. I was in better shape. Like what do you think I should do?" Like I don't
Yeah.
know if
Well,
someone said that to you, but like if they came up
yeah,
to me like, "Man, I need to know so much more to be able to answer that." And then it's like,
but it's
you
like
know,
twofold. I feel like it's almost problematic if I tell them everything, it's going to overwhelm them. It's gonna be like information overload. You know what I mean? Because it's like, do you really want to know everything I had to do? So I'm usually like, "Oh, just be consistent, go to the gym, watch what you eat, give up drinking." Like, it's very, like, the top. I would pick, like, 5 things, maybe say, to do those things. But yeah, that's interesting, like, what do you eat? Um, but I haven't had, like, specific, I guess, questions like that. It's just more of, like, maybe it's not even them questioning me, it's them, like, coming up and almost confessing to me that they are not meeting their goals, or that they're lacking. And I think part of it is because they look at me and they're like, "Oh, okay, this guy's in shape." They look at what I was, right, when I was fat, like, "Okay, cool." Um, and I also think the way I am, I'm very approachable. Just I don't know what it is about my aura, my demeanor. It's like people, I think, feel safe asking questions because they know I'm not gonna be like, "Work harder." I'm not gonna be like David Goggins or something and tell them just, like, "Suck it up." Or whatever it is. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting why it's so hard for people, and this is just asking questions, but this applies to work, relationships, friendships. It's hard for people to say what they really mean. It's an interesting thing, and I haven't figured out why. I haven't unpacked it, but I know I struggle with that as well. So, like, I guess if I could figure that out, I would get rid of that, and I'd be able to say what I actually think. But I don't know. Do you have that problem?
I do have that problem, definitely. I think that our culture, like, how I don't know how deep you wanna go with this, but I think
Let's get deep.
let's get deep. I think this is one of, like, the core I think it's probably always been behind the scenes as far as, like, the formation of civilization goes.
Mhm.
Like, conforming and being part of a society means fitting in. And in order to fit in, it means to some extent feeling like you need to be in a box to get along with everyone else, like to set
Mhm.
yourself a certain way so that you can conform with everyone else so you can kind of live together, I suppose. So I think on some level, ever since the formation of the first civilizations, that's probably been a thing to some degree. And if like, hey, if you're like
Yeah.
thinking differently than everyone else, you're kind of a little bit more of a creative or spirited person, or just in opposition to what the majority thinks, then you're
Yeah.
what would you call that? An
Ostracized.
omega. Like
Yeah.
you'd be cast out, you'd be shunned, you'd be like, oh, that guy's weird, and you
In the
wouldn't
old
fit in.
days, that's when you came to America.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we're all outcasts, or Australia. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
but now I think 2025 things are probably amplified. So
Mhm.
like you think about, okay, I'll go there. It's like 2025. There's kind of a culture war.
Mhm.
You've got woke far left culture. You've got like the
Mhm.
far right culture fighting, and then kind of the battle in between. And I think from my own speculation, we're kind of getting out of the more extreme far left woke
Mhm.
kind of a dominated culture, and it's kind of the pendulum swinging the other
Trying to
way, but
shift
it's like
back,
there's
yeah.
still back and forth. But I mean, as far as like the far left kind of woke culture that's being pushed, cancel culture, like that's a good
Mhm.
example, right? It's like
Mhm.
if you say what you think and it's not in alignment with what, you know, the majority of
Yeah.
other people
Or not even
think,
the
you can
majority, but
get,
those in power, you know what I mean?
yes,
Yeah.
then you get canceled.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to be careful about saying what you actually think, or you had to. I mean, there's probably still a good amount of that going on, but I think
Yeah.
it's better than it was like even 4 or 5 years ago, less than that, 3 or 2 or 3 years
Mhm.
ago even. So it's almost like you have to or had to be careful about what you said so that you wouldn't get canceled, or, you know. And there's also the other crazy stuff like might as well talk about it since we're
Yeah.
going there. But like the DEI stuff, like
Mhm.
trying to, what is it? Diversity, equity, inclusion. Is that what
Person,
it's?
yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Um, it's if you're in opposition to anything of that sort, then you kind of get canceled or you're shunned. And
Mhm.
I think some of it. So like your question of like, does it seem like people just often don't say what's on their mind, what they're really thinking? Like that could be part of the reason
Yeah.
why, is like that kind of the kind of political environment that
Yeah.
we've been in for the past while, but also too just from like a base societal
Mhm.
kind
Mhm.
of a structure. Like even the earliest civilizations probably felt that in order to be part of a community or a tribe or
Yeah.
a city, an early civilization, you probably felt pressure to conform with everyone else
Yeah.
by being agreeable, at least to some extent, not within some extent.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
guess that's
What do you think?
that's the interesting part because, like, I definitely do agree with that, like, you wanna be in an environment that it's not uncomfortable, right? Like, that makes sense, like, you would not stay in an uncomfortable environment. But what's interesting, especially with those, like, the extremes on both sides, I'll say, but, like, especially the stuff that doesn't, I think, for my personal beliefs, don't make sense, or it's not like fact based, it's like they're saying something that's completely not true scientifically and biologically and whatever else. It's like, I don't think the majority, this is just a huge speculation, but I don't think a majority of people believe that. But it's like the everyone's so agreeable, no one calls anyone on their bullshit, right? Like, so when someone says something stupid, no one says that's stupid. And I think if people did, there'd be less stupid stuff being said. But, like, it's something about people, we don't want to make other people feel out of place, so we just let it go. We kinda, like, take the high road, which I think is good on the short term, but I think over we've seen over time now it's becoming maybe a problem. Um, like, and so taking the kindness kind of for taking advantage of it a little bit.
It's
Um
Have you ever
Yeah.
heard of toxic compassion? Have you heard
No.
that? That's
No.
it's kind of what it is. It's like you're being kind or you're being nice. You're tolerating
Mhm.
an untruth or a lie to be nice or to tolerate the other person when inherently that's actually wrong. So like you noted, it's like
Mhm.
somebody says an untruth or a lie even, and it's like, "Okay, I'll be nice." I don't agree, and honestly, like, it's not true, but to fit in or to be
Yeah.
nice, then or to be compassionate, then,
Mhm.
I'll go along with it. But, like, everything that you just mentioned, like, I think that's and I'm not the one that's coming
Mhm.
up, this isn't an original idea, but I think that's one of the main problems with
Yeah.
culture nowadays is the dominance of saying you believe something that you don't or agreeing with something you don't actually agree with. Because if you do that, you're
Mhm.
basically basing yourself
Off of their
o on a lie,
yeah.
right? So, like, you're supporting a lie, something that you don't believe in, and if there's tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people doing this, then it means that, like, lying is, like, a core part of our
Mm.
culture, and it's like lying is, like I think most people can agree that aren't, like, sociopaths or psychopaths
It's, like,
that,
bad.
like
Yeah.
yeah, people do it all the time, but usually they know it's not a good thing,
Mhm.
except for, the people that are really morally outside of the box.
Yeah.
But, like, I think, like, we can probably agree that a culture that's built on lying or at least agreeing with things that aren't
Mhm.
true, like, that's probably not a good thing.
Yeah. And then so I guess how do you combat that? Because I also think if you just tell people they're wrong or they're dumb or whatever, depending on how you do it, like in my experience, more for like a professional setting, like even if someone says something like factually wrong or trying to relate it to like music or something, like, hey, this is how you play this note or this passage, and you're like, no, that's incorrect. Those are the wrong notes. Right? Like you can't just say it coldly, right? Because then you're never gonna be able to work together as a team. They're never gonna want to play with you. Like I'm sure you've seen this with musicians. They might be the best musicians, but if they're an asshole, you're not going to hire them again. Or no one's going to want to work with them. Um, so that's kind of been my experience too. You just can't tell people like, no, you're wrong, because then they're gonna be like, what? Who are you? Like, because yeah, you might be right on a couple of like the factual data points, but anytime something that is any wiggle room or any subjectivity, or if you're wrong, you end up being wrong one time, like you lose all credibility. And so therefore, like your hard stance on stuff is going to come back to bite you. And you
Right.
say, no, that's not how you play it. And it's like, well, who are you to say how I play it? It's like music and it's all interpreted. Like, um, or whatever, like a lifting, like you have this technique and this is the exercise you need to do. Well, it works for me. So you're wrong. Like I just I struggle with that. Like, but I've never heard of that toxic. What was
Toxic
it?
compassion.
Yeah, like I feel like maybe I am like that a little bit too much. Because part of me wants to be that asshole, like, so much. I've said this for so long that, like, I want that tool in my toolbox to be able to pull it out from time to time, but I just can't force myself to do it because at the end of the day, I always tell myself it's not that serious. You know what I mean? And it's not, like, worth me getting worked up about. And me personally, I know, like, I kinda lose my, not control, but, like, when I get frustrated, I lose my bearing, a little bit, and it's like I come off flustered, and so, like, I just try to be like, "Woosah, not a big deal." You know what I mean? Um,
Maybe that is
so
the greater good in a lot of contexts, so, like, maybe that is genuinely the best thing to do. But you're making me think of, something actually, it's advice that someone else shared with me relatively recently, like, in those
mhm,
kind of situations where you're at odds with someone else's beliefs and you're pretty sure that you're objectively correct and this
mhm,
other person is objectively incorrect. So, like, you're diplomatically trying to challenge them
yeah,
in a way that the key point being is diplomatic. A good strategy that I learned is to do so by asking a question. So, like, in the music example,
mm,
it's like let's say someone's playing an F sharp. and like a D minor chord. So like
Mhm.
clearly that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
But they're like convinced they're right. So what do? You say, well, what do you think it would sound like if you actually played down to an F natural? You
Yeah.
ask the question, and then they're like, "Well, shoot, whatever, like, I guess I'll try it." And then they do it, and they're like,
You're like, "Ooh, is
it's
that a
like they
diminished
figure it out.
chord?"
Yeah, and then they're like,
Yes.
"Oh, no, it's supposed to be like an A." So,
Yeah.
well, actually, there is an A in that chord, but anyways, um, it let's say they actually play the F natural, and then
Mhm.
they're like, "Oh, yeah, that actually does sound properly, like, that does sound like a D minor
Mhm.
triad." And then it's like, oh, they figured it out for
On
themselves, and
their
they feel
own,
okay,
yeah.
like, it doesn't feel like an as invasive of a, like, command or a,
Mm. Mhm.
like, almost an insult to them that, "Hey, I'm right and you're wrong." It's like you make a suggestion to them, they
Yeah.
figure it out for themselves, and it's like they did so with in a way that was where they had autonomy, basically. It's like they
Yeah.
figured it out for themselves. It's not invasive to them. So, like,
Yeah.
you can maybe, like, that principle could perhaps be applied in different contexts.
Mhm.
The advice that I got was actually for, like, trolls on social media. So, like, let's say
Okay.
somebody's like, I present something on social media, an idea, and someone's like, "That's dumb because of XYZ
Yeah.
reason." And then, okay, they got all these reasons why I'm dumb or what I'm doing is dumb. Then you ask a question like, "Okay, based off of XYZ that you just said, can you explain why this is dumb?" And
Yeah.
then it's like crickets, or they say
Yeah.
something else that's dumb, and then that they say is dumb, and that they're criticizing me, and then I ask another question, okay, based off of that, like, don't you think this though? And then crickets or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's what I someone gave me this suggestion relatively recently, like, ask
Interesting, yeah.
questions when somebody is combative like that, and it can help
Yeah.
to calm a situation or even lead someone else to change
So,
their belief
I
system.
dude, it's so funny. So I have, like, 3 thoughts about this. I'm gonna try to remember them. The first one, I think exactly what you said about, like, guiding them to their own conclusion is I feel like what you did with me in my last prep. You know what I mean? I don't think anything was really forced, and it's like, you basically made me come to the conclusion that, like, I wasn't being as strict as I needed to be. You know what I mean? But you were, like, super, like, oh, like, asking questions. "What are you actually eating? What are you tracking?" "Oh, I'm eating these, like, candy bars, in the blender." "Well, that'll probably be it." You know what I'm saying?
According to
So
my detective skills.
yeah, exactly. Those extra 800 calories of Hershey bars. Um, no wonder you're not losing weight.
It's
No,
all
but,
anabolic straight to the biceps.
yeah, exactly. Do have good biceps though, I think. But,
You do.
separate note, yeah. I've had multiple comments on my arms this week, so I feel like that's a good thing. But,
Salt Hershey's.
yeah, it's all the Hershey's. Um, and then so when you were talking about, trolls, so I guess my first question, a more of a lighthearted one, is is that a big thing? Do you get a lot of trolls? Is that a common, uh is it on your videos or is it like private messages or stuff like that?
It's it's not common. It
Okay.
was more common when I was pushing out more and different kinds of content in the past. So
Mhm,
it
mhm.
was. I can't actually remember, to be honest. Like, I remember very clearly getting that advice for that specific context, but I can't remember,
Yeah.
like, looking back, it would have been like 6 months ago.
Gotcha,
6
gotcha.
months
Yeah,
ago, I wasn't getting a lot of trolling comments, like, maybe once every couple months, like,
yeah,
not very much.
yeah.
But, I
It's
don't. I'm fortunate
yeah.
to not
That's
have
good.
to worry
That's
about
good.
that.
No, that's awesome. Because my wife, she just,
She
she
trolls
is
you
so
all the time. She
well,
trolls
she
you.
does. Yes. But she is so funny because, I don't know. She just doesn't put up with the bullshit. So like when you're saying like how you like respond with questions, my wife just blocks them. She just blocks them. And then the other day she released a new YouTube video and I went to go look at it. I was watching. She hadn't done a YouTube video in like 2 years. And dude, Sam, I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna hate it. You're gonna hate it, right?
Yeah.
So she posted the video, and like the next day, like less than 24 hours, she's like, "Oh, I got like 300 views already," and I'm like,
Yeah, like, already.
I'm like, "Oh, I hate you."
Yeah.
right? Like,
She's like, "Shoot, I suck."
yeah, I know, right? So I went to go comment on the video, and I couldn't comment, and I was like, why can't I comment? And I was like, Carrie, do you have like comments turned off? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, what? You don't want to like encourage, like, she's like, no. And I'm just like, interesting. But maybe when like, because she'll just get people like asking dumb questions. And then also they, at the end of the day, they don't really want to learn anything. They want either to take her ideas and take it for their own business or something. And like, so it's common, I guess, in the wreath making world. But yeah, so I found that
There's
interesting. And then go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say there's another thing too, like from her perspective, like she's got a specific skill set that other people don't have, and then people are
Mhm.
like picking her brain for it, and her time and her skill set is valuable. So it's
Yeah,
like I think it's cool to be like gracious with your time and your energy and the skills that you've acquired to an extent. But
yeah.
like if someone's trying to pick your brain to like either steal an idea or just kind
Mhm.
of take advantage of a person's time, it's like, I mean, she could technically have like teach people as part of
Well,
a
I
career. Like she
told
could,
her to create a Patreon. I told her
yeah.
that. I was like, and I said, just do all the lessons of how to actually make the wreaths
And then
within
it would be
that.
more, yeah, and then you'd be more
Yeah.
justified too. Like people that are part of the Patreon, you can
Yep.
feel
And
a
you know
little
what
bit better
she
about
you know what she said to
answering
me? She's like, "What is Patreon?"
questions.
And I was like, "Gosh," like so much lost opportunity. But yeah, no, it's good. Um, have you experienced this? So I've had a couple issues, and I kind of now have just shied away from it. But on my personal Facebook page, like when I see people, my friends, and I use friends loosely because they're friends on Facebook, but they post some crazy ass shit, and every now and then I'm feeling feisty, and like I'll comment, and then it just I'm like, oh, why did I do this? Right? Because then it just becomes like this keyboard warriors, and so what I've done is
So when you
yeah.
comment, like when you'll com you'll comment something feisty, what does that mean?
Mhm.
Like criticize their crazy stuff, or like you'll troll them, you'll criticize them, you'll question them? Like what does that mean?
Kinda. So, like, it's been very rare since I've done it in a while. So, a small example, and I didn't really get into it, was uh, my aunt posted something about, she's on a different side of the political aisle, and she posted something about like, "Where are all my like veterans at? Like, are you supporting this or that?" Right? Like, and basically trying to cause like some angst,
A
right?
ruckus.
Yeah, and so I just, replied with the emote, um, the hand guy, but I really wanted to comment a whole bunch more and be like, "What are you trying to get at?" Like, so I would that's what I would have done maybe a couple years ago, but now I just, like, you know, just replied with that, just knowing it's kind of me saying a subtle, like, "Yes, I don't necessarily agree with what you're saying, but also I'm, like, your family member, so, like, maybe when you're making generalized statements like that, it doesn't apply to everyone. Like, don't rope me into your games kinda thing." Um, but I'm trying to think, there's been a couple probably maybe I'd have to go back and look, maybe a couple months ago, but where it's maybe I'm not the one, like, commenting on their post, but, like, they'll post something and then there'd be people commenting, and then I might reply to someone's comment. And it's more like you're saying, like, question it, but the way I'm questioning it definitely shows that I don't agree, and then it's like they reply, and it's like they always have a fucking paragraph answer, like, always. It's never just like, "Haha, Zach, you're dumb." Like, it's like, "Well, let me tell you the scientific reason why you're wrong," and, like, it's like, "Oh my god, do you have this stuff copied and pasted?" And then you're just, like, ready for someone, and it just never feels genuine, and it feels like I'm talking to a wall. Um, but so I've refrained now from getting into it with people on social media, but the only issue I have is, like, when you just let stupid stuff stay out there, and it's like an echo chamber, and I feel like someone needs to at least throw something into that echo chamber, like, to break up the, craziness. Because if everyone is just saying what they believe, and it's all the same stuff, it's like, y'all are in your own little world right now, not everyone believes what you believe. Um, so I'm trying to always balance, like, like kind of like what I would do in person. But in person, I think it's a little bit easier um, to say what you mean because I think people are a little bit braver behind the computer than they would be in person. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So that's kind of what I mean. It's not a great example. I'd have to go and look at the last time I really started up. But
It's tough, right? Because like it's the right thing to do is probably to, if there's something like as you noted, there's like some kind of an echo chamber that's like
mhm,
residually spewing out something that's like not true or wrong, or just it's creating a ruckus. It's like it seems like it would be right to challenge whatever it is, to say what the truth is.
mhm.
Like that seems like the right thing to do. But then the wise thing to do, like it would be to be
Yeah.
really tactful about how you do it, right? Because it could be the case if you just participate in the echo chamber, you throw a wrench in it and then everyone gangs up on you, or like there's some
Yeah.
kind of negative societal consequence in doing that, then like that would be problematic. Like it would be unwise to do
Mhm.
that for
Yeah.
your own, for your own state of
Lots of
being.
reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
could be lots of reasons. So it's like trying to be it's tough, man, like,
Mhm.
it's really tough. It's like,
Dude,
how
yeah.
do I say the truth without it biting me in the butt later on, even though I'm
That that
probably right? Like,
literally
it's
yeah, that literally happened to me today at work. I was running with some people, and there's 4 of us, and we were running super slow. I'm talking, dude, I have not ran we could run you could have done this run, okay? It was like 11, 12
I don't
minute
know, man,
pace
I'm like
mile.
it was like I do long distance for me is 100 meters.
Well, yeah, this was 4 miles, and it was, at 11-minute pace, and I have not ran I don't think I've ran that slow in the last 2 years. It was nice though because I did legs this morning and then I did sprints after, and then at lunch I ran, so my legs were gonna be gassed anyways. But it was more of like I'm going out with some of the guys, and it was actually felt good to run slow and I could talk the whole time and I wasn't out of breath. But we were talking and I definitely said some maybe like that would be inappropriate or not like that I could say in a professional setting. And they're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, you can't say that." I'm like, "Wait, this is the trust circle. Like this, it's like we're okay here, right?"
What
And
happens in
they're
the trust circle stays in the trust circle.
yeah, you know what I mean? And then later on, I was just saying, man, like I don't know why I just can't say like the things I want to say or talk like this or just be real. And it's like you can't. You have like this due to the position the that you're in at work, like you can't say these things or you can't say what you really mean. And I'm like, just freaking frustrates me. You know what I mean? Like, why can't we? You know? Um, it's just I don't know. I cannot get behind it. At some point in my career, I will let loose, but still kind of like handcuffed. Um, but it's just
Yeah.
funny because I think when I do have those conversations, people really appreciate it because they're like, oh, he's like a real person who like just says how it is, says what's on his mind. Um, but yeah.
I get that. I
Mhm.
definitely like honestly, like, I struggle with that all the time.
Do you
My main
ever
things
yeah,
Go
go ahead.
ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, do you ever struggle telling a client what they really need to hear? Put them on the spot.
Yes, I definitely do. And I've
Yeah.
actually found, like, the key with that is, so let's say a client has a certain belief developed
Mm, mhm,
related to their nutrition or their training or what it takes to build muscle, and it's way wrong, or it's, like,
mhm,
kinda right, but it's mostly wrong. If I were to, in most instances, just, like, totally shut down their belief system,
mhm.
it's actually not helpful. It's like it makes them feel like crap. Oftentimes their walls go up, like they won't
Yep.
take a lot of it in, and it's just not helpful.
Mhm,
So what I've learned from my coaching over the years is the tactful, smarter thing to do is if someone believes the wrong thing that's not helping them, it's just clearly not leading them on the right path, is to give them just as much to start steering them in the right direction. And the hope would be that over time, with continued coaching, the main belief that is true that they could have will develop later on, just but over time, like with
Mhm.
little suggestions or pieces of advice or sug points of communication that can lead them in the right direction. So, like, the key
Yeah,
is to just say as much as I should in a given context, not everything all at once. Sometimes it's the case. Sometimes it's
yeah,
like it depends on the person, depends on their personality and like exactly what their belief system is. But let's say someone is like doesn't understand the concept between I want to build as much muscle as possible, and they think that in order to do that, I need to lift as heavy as I can for sets of 6. Like
mhm,
that's it. That's the money rep range to build muscle. So I need to do that for everything.
yeah,
I could just say, like, that's actually not true. You can do rep ranges like maybe up to 30 reps even with lighter weight or 20 reps with lighter weight or even lower, maybe 5 reps or even heavier weight and you can still build
yeah,
muscle optimally. Like you can do that. Maybe that's the right approach where I just like lay it all out and they're really receptive of it. But depending on the person, if they've had this belief established for ages, they're totally convinced of it. Their
mhm,
favorite YouTube influencers
yeah,
are majorly advocating that school of thought and they're totally bought into it, maybe the tactful thing to do would be something like, okay, well, maybe what we could try is maybe try like lowering the weight just a little bit to sets of 8, like
mhm,
step in the right or a step
yeah,
in a different direction. And then, a couple weeks later, it's like, did you notice any differences? Like, well, my mind muscle connection was actually a little bit better
yeah,
and I got a bit more of a pump. It's like, well, that might be an indicator that you're still stimulating for muscle growth. Okay. Does it
yeah,
look like you lost muscle? No. Okay. Well, maybe you're actually building muscle. Do you want to try like a set of 12 next for your biceps? It's like,
mhm,
okay. What happened when
yeah,
you did it? Well, I got a bigger pump
yeah, massive pump.
and like my biceps actually look a little bit bigger. Okay, and then they're bought into it. So it's like making these little suggestions rather than decimating their belief system. But it depends. It depends on the
Yeah,
person, depends on the belief. But
yeah.
sometimes it's
And
really hard. Sometimes it is to answer your question.
my
Sometimes it's
thought is if you told me if I was set on doing 6, you told me to lower the weight to get 8, I would be like, "No, I'm just gonna get 8 with the same weight. I'm gonna stop being weak."
that's one
Because
that's one way to do it.
if I can do 6, I can do 8.
I'm gonna be
Um,
like, that wasn't exactly what I meant, but okay, I
yeah.
guess that's kind of in the right
Then you'll be
direction.
like, "I guess we need to have a conversation on failure and what
Yeah.
true failure is."
I think we just opened up a bigger can of worms here.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes that happens too.
That's true, that's true. Yeah, that's funny. I'm trying to think back when that first summer, um, we worked together. I think you pretty much told me upfront that I sucked. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. No, you didn't. But I
I don't
didn't
remember
like,
that.
you can't communicate when someone doesn't communicate back, and I think that's what I failed at miserably. I was not a good client in that sense. I was like the first week. I remember I sent so many updates. I was motivated. I'm sure that's like pretty normal. And then it's like, as I failed on myself, it's like you don't want to tell the person, going back to our communication thing, it's like, why do we not want to communicate our failures, what we're insecure about? Which it kind of makes sense. And I think the real growth is being able to say those things, you know, um, afterwards. And it's okay to be like humility. You know what I mean? There's a difference between like humility and weakness. But then you have to learn from your mistakes too, not just keep making the same ones and just be like excuse machine. Be like, well, I failed again, I failed again. 'Cause then you start getting that victim complex. But yeah, yeah, that's interesting. I
It's
think,
hard to do that though. It's really hard, like, to admit
yeah,
if, like, you've been falling short for whatever reason. Like, it's really hard to say, like, "Hey," like, to anyone, to tell yourself that, it's probably tough, right? It is
yeah,
tough. I can't pretend like I've never done that before.
yeah,
Um, but that's tough, and especially, like, telling someone else or, like, a coach, like, "Hey, like, I screwed this up." That's
mhm,
hard. That's really tough to do. It's like you're admitting failure in some sense,
yeah,
and that does, like, to your point, like, that takes, like, an insane amount of humility. I think
mhm, mhm,
humility is one of the most important virtues out there.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I think more people should be humble, gracious. I mean, all those things. Think it's funny because I'm not old yet, but I feel like as I'm getting older, and I'm like, what is like the purpose on this earth, kind of thing. And it's just like, why are we such assholes to each other? Why are we making things harder on each other than we need to? Why are we stressing people out for no freaking reason? It's just like, what are we doing? We live in the best time of society with technology and all this other stuff. It's like, man, we should be living it up. Yet we cause our own stress. But maybe that's what we need. Maybe the human species needs like that conflict and that stress. Um,
To some extent, I mean, growth comes through stress, but
yeah.
part of the problem, I think, is like thinking about humility. It's like, why do we make it harder for ourselves? Why is it harder for, why is it so, why do we clash so much with other people? Like, again, going back to humility, what's the opposite of humility is pride, right?
Mhm.
So, like, people, it is common. Like, everyone struggles with being like, there's a type of pride that's good, right? So, like, being
Yeah.
proud of your nephew or your son for like doing
Mhm.
well on their math test. Like, there's a healthy kind of pride, but there's another kind of pride, like a disordered kind, where you put yourself ahead of what's more important or ahead of other people to an
Yeah.
unhealthy level. That's not that's not good. So, like, going back to humility, like, that's the solution to get along with people better, is to be more humble and to not
Mhm.
put your own disordered desires in front of everyone else or the things that are more important. So, uh
Yeah.
yeah, so, like, I mean, just on a very general level, like, if I'm putting myself, my own desires ahead of someone else, and they've got their own desires and their own agenda that they're putting ahead of everyone else, you get them
Mhm.
together, there's gonna naturally be clashing because both of them are putting their own agenda and their own desires in front of everyone else rather than having some humility to be able to find some middle ground, which ironically would probably lead to, like, people get along better and,
Yeah.
there'd probably be a happier, more fulfilled society that way.
Yeah. Yeah. This is why I love like I mean sports, but also really I think music has really showed me this because like, musicians, especially trumpet players, were like very cocky and confident. But like playing in a
The
band.
stereotype, the
Yeah,
stereotypical
100%
trumpet
stereotypical,
player.
like, yes. But it's like when you play in a band, I feel like everyone kinda gets leveled. Like, everyone, like, has to play their part, you have to work together, like, we all have our strengths, we all have our weaknesses, but we put the like I keep thinking like the movie Drumline, "One band, one sound," right? Like, all that stuff. But I think it's totally true, and I look at, like, my background with music, and it's like, maybe this is why I'm just so, like, accepting and understanding, like and I'm okay taking 2nd, 3rd, like, depending on if someone comes in better, but maybe I'm better at something else, and I apply that to work. Like, if I'm better at X and I'm not good at, like, data entry or what like, let's all you and now with fitness, I just it's so funny because I use the fitness example all the time when people talk about, like, "Oh, everyone just needs to do their job and carry their weight and blah, 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 and it's not that difficult." I'm like, really? Let's go run 26 miles then right now if you don't think it's that difficult. Like, it might be difficult for me to put something in a spreadsheet, but it's difficult for you to go run 26 miles. So it's like, what are we doing here? Why does your way have to be like like and so just having like understanding we all have different strengths and
Yeah,
weaknesses and the key is to
yeah,
work together. So it's like if I'm a great trumpet player, but I can't play high, let me play the third part. But maybe I'm a really good improver. Let me play second part, you know?
yeah,
Um, and I
totally.
just yeah, I think so many people maybe that's the cool thing about music is like it's so much interchangeable where like in sports, a lot of them have specific positions and they can't switch. Like you're the QB, you're like in music, it's you play every part within the ensemble or whatever. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I do agree. I think it would definitely be better if everyone just kind of worked together, kept their egos in check, a little bit of humility. Um, yeah, I think it's like for us, I think I kind of touched on it either. Like talking about it, I think, you know, it's so interesting, like me being honest about like the end about like like why I wasn't making progress and stuff like that.
This was
But
in
like
your prep you're talking about,
yeah, and like
last prep,
but
yeah.
yep, but you allowing me to like figure that out myself you know? Like, I'm definitely more excited about this prep coming up because I don't think I have as much mental stress on myself about, like, letting Sam down kinda thing, you know what I mean? I think it's gonna be like, "Okay, cool, I'm gonna be more honest, I'll probably mess up, I don't have, like, a zero defect mentality." Um, but I think just because then it's like you can just help me faster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what let's not waste time, you know? If I mess up and say I messed up, it's like, "Okay, cool." Like, you might be like, "No, it's all good. You do, like, 1,000 steps anyways all the time." Like, but, like, no, but or you could be like, "Hey, we have more time, we can dial it in," or whatever, you know, the correction will be.
It'll be a clearer stream of communication. We can be way more efficient that way. Because
Yeah.
going back to the question earlier on, it's like that you brought up about the difficulty that we can have about saying what's really on our mind,
Yeah.
because you and I have been, I mean, we've formed a relationship over the past
Mhm.
3 plus years now. Now we'll be able to have a much clearer stream of communication where we can actually say what we're actually thinking, so we can actually
Yeah.
get to the bottom of things. We can actually speak pure truth to each other, and if we
Yeah.
can speak pure truth to each other, there's no barrier between that, then we can be more efficient with everything, get to the bottom of you
Mhm.
making progress and planning things out, like, just way more efficiently.
I just had a interesting thought. Do you think there is, like, a level so, like, I would say you and I are pretty good friends at this point, but, like, you know, we're not, like best friends, right? Like, we didn't, like, grow up with each other. We don't have, like never met each other in person, right? Like, so it's like there's levels to it. Do you think there's, like because I feel like the same thing, like, it'd be a super open communication, but then if you become, like, too close of a friend with someone, then it actually becomes harder than like, it's like this pendulum. Like, when you don't know someone, you're not gonna be honest with them because you don't know. And then it's like you get to know them better, you feel super comfortable, but it's not so close that you're gonna be hurt with how they respond. But then say you have, like, a really good best friend or, like, your brother or something like my wife, like, it's like you can't tell them the truth because now it's like it's swung too far. Yeah, does that make like, I feel like I have friends that I have, and I'm like, I just wanna tell them they're stupid, but it's like, you can't, you know? I don't know, like, you know, if that checks out.
I think, man, that's tough. I think that's such an individual thing.
Mhm,
So, like,
mhm,
I'll think from my perspective. So, like, I'll I'll take my brother as an example.
mhm,
So, if I'm trying to think super honestly of what I would actually do. Like, if he
mhm,
asked me a question and it had something to do with me falling short about something, like,
mm,
let's say theoretically, I'm doing my prep and he's asking me questions about my prep, and I've been sucking for a month, like, I haven't been sticking with my diet or whatever. I'm trying to think, like, what would I tell him? Like,
like, would
would
you
I
lie to
tell him?
yourself through him? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, something like that, or I think
Mm,
because I actually have to think hard about that, it's like I would tell him the truth, like, I would tell him, but I'd really struggle with it because 'cause I've got
mhm,
this
mhm,
persona kinda built up of, like,
mm,
I always stick with my plan, I always stick with my yeah, I always stick with my game plan. So admitting defeat to someone that I'm really, really close to,
yeah,
that I've built this reputation with, that'd be really, really tough. And there would be a temptation to lie and
mhm,
to say something that's not true or to avoid dodge the question or something like that. But I can see that being really difficult depending on the specific person, the relationship that you're in. I
yeah,
think what the ideal would be is to just the ideal would be to always tell the truth no matter what. That's the ideal. It's
yeah,
just really, really tough. And then also the other ideal is for me
mhm,
is to always do my best. So I'm
yeah,
falling short as little as possible. Like I'm not giving myself space to even want to lie. I
mhm,
think that's the
mhm,
other part of the ideal. But
yeah,
to your thought process, like depending on the relationship, like it would be harder to confide in
mhm.
the other person depending on the
Yeah.
relationship, I
Well, I
guess.
always think of, like, the old, like, you know, your wife or your spouse or your significant other. Do I look fat in this? Mm. Like, are we telling the truth here? Like, you know,
That's where being wise comes in, right? Like, you have to
yes.
have that's
Yeah.
another that's another case of, like, you gotta have some prudence there. It's like, well, I could tell the truth,
Yeah.
but would
But my
that be
couch is not comfortable,
wise?
so yeah.
How can I be diplomatic about this?
Yeah. Oh man, no, that's a good one. That's interesting. It's funny when you said like you have this persona. Um, I was thinking about when you
It's
said that.
ego.
Well,
Uh-oh.
yeah, but like at what point, what's the fine line? Because I've had this recently where, if you kind of don't take yourself seriously enough and you kind of have a laissez-faire attitude, you're almost not pushing yourself. And I kind of have that sometimes where I'm like, if you set the low, there's a joke at the gym. There's a gym bro. I don't know his name, but he talks to us every day now. Big Jack guy. And it's like literally
Oh,
we're friends now, but I don't know his name. Like I don't know.
Jack.
Yeah.
The Jack
Jack.
guy.
Yeah. And he's very into lifting heavy and only heavy, right? Doesn't do any cardio. You probably like him. Um, so,
Definitely.
and he's always making jokes. He's like, you got to go to failure, especially in the morning, so you can be a failure for the rest of the day, and you can only go up from here, right? Like he's always
Yeah,
making jokes about this,
hick rock
right?
bottom now.
Yeah, it's right. But it's kind of like true. Like if you always say, oh, I'm not that good at this, or like I'm just kind of whatever. You can only go up. You're never setting yourself up to fail because your expectations are low. But it's like a fine balance between not being like we were just saying. It's all kind of balance. You don't want to be overly like I'm the best ever. I'm the best ever. Um, but I think you do want to push yourself. Like, I think it's a fine balance. So I find that with like the different fitness goals I have, like I know in the reality of things, I'm not great at any of them. You know what I mean? I'm just an average. When you start looking at the numbers, like when I actually start competing with like marathon runners, I'm not in the ballpark, right? But then it's like, okay, I am still good at it, but I'm competing against myself and I'm going to improve. Um, but again, I think that's a little bit of it's kind of same thing with the fitness, and you start comparing yourself to others, and you lose track of where you are versus others in the grand scheme of things. But I find myself doing that sometimes where I'm like, oh, I'm not that good at this. Kind of talk down my abilities. But I think it's a fine balance of me don't not wanting to fail, but also I don't actually think I'm good. But maybe that's one of the reasons why I am good because I constantly think I'm not good. So I'm always pushing myself. I think maybe what you do with how after you say you're not good, are you just like pity party or are you actually training and working hard to improve? I don't know if that makes sense.
I think that, like, that goes back. I know we keep talking, keep
Mhm.
bringing this up, but like this humility thing.
Mhm.
From my understanding, humility means to kind of acknowledge the truth. So, like, I think
Mm.
I've had the idea that like being humble means like what you said or what you've kind of suggested is like you kind of talk down to yourself.
Mhm.
But that's not exactly the truth, so that's not being humble. It's like
Yeah.
if you're being self-deprecating when, like, it's not
Mm.
true, like, saying you're worse than like, "Oh, I suck at, like, bench press," or,
Mhm.
like, "I suck at, like, physique sports," like, that's
Yeah.
not true. But, like so, like, that kind of self-deprecation is actually not it's like a false humility. Humility would be what
Yeah.
you just described, which is like, "Okay, so I'll speak for myself. I really like bodybuilding. I'm pretty good at it, but I'm not the best at it." Like, that's the way
Mhm.
it is. It's the truth. So that being so would probably classify it as being the humble thing to say,
Yeah.
hopefully. I don't know if
Yeah.
me saying it's the humble thing is
Well,
makes me
it's
humble,
funny
but
because yeah. Sorry, go
oh,
ahead.
oh, oh, one this was I think a good way of thinking about it is okay, I gotta make sure I say this right.
Communicate it clearly.
Okay, humility means to not think less of yourself. It's to
Mm.
think of yourself less.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
So, like,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know, we get mixed up a lot of the time where it's like, if I kinda talk down about myself or I think down about myself, I'm being humble, but that's not true. It's like,
Mhm.
actually just stop being egotistical or, like, stop
Yeah.
thinking about yourself too much or thinking about, like, "Hey, I'm the best natural bodybuilder ever," and
Yeah.
it's like, that's just not true. It's
Yeah.
an untruth, and that goes in alignment with, well, being humble or humility is just
I'm wondering if, like,
being
the
the truth.
greatest out there, are they humbler? Or, like, when you've made it and you're, like, the top in the world, are you then allowed to be like, "No, I'm the shit. Like, I'm the GOAT."
That's a good question. I think the answer to that would actually be, to a large extent, would be yes, because it
Mhm.
is the truth. So, like, Michael
Ah,
Jordan, one of the
yeah,
best basketball players of all time, like, it's the truth for him to say, like, "I'm the best of all time." It's
yeah.
like, you're not being humble, but
But he's
it's
not
true.
being
So
arrogant either. He's, like,
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah. So maybe it's
yeah,
like spectrum. Like, if he's like, "I'm the best person ever. No one else is ever gonna beat me." That kinda crosses the line because someone
mhm,
could actually beat him, so maybe that's not true. So that part
yeah,
would be
yeah,
prideful,
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
opposite
yeah.
of humility.
Interesting. Yeah. I noticed when you were talking about if, I'm good at physique sports and good at bench press, you didn't mention squats. So I must be bad at those.
I was picking my exercises carefully.
Yeah, exactly. He clearly communicated.
You're not let me be clear, you're a good squatter.
Yeah, I'm just living at this house right now. I'm squatting.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I did squats today. I did, 255 instead of
How did they
225. I
go?
went up. Did, 4 sets of well, I did the first 2 sets of 8 and then 6 and 6, and then I did 20, 135 with, like, my feet elevated.
Nice.
So I had to burn myself out there. Felt good. Felt like I could have pushed harder, but I'm actually today was my last leg day. Um, I'm not doing legs next week. So, I
Marathon's coming up.
yeah, so I purposely didn't really push myself hard today, which, for me, that's hard. Like, I wanna send it all the time, but I purposely kinda dialed it back, just being a little bit smarter, but still going to have the routine and the consistency. Um, but yeah, next week, I think I'm gonna do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in the gym, but I'm just gonna do, like, chest back and then chest back again, just skip a leg day. But, like, that Wednesday, Thursday is gonna be, like, super light. Like, I'm just gonna go and I don't wanna say go
Just
through the motions, but it's kinda go through
replace
the motions.
replace your leg day with just arm day.
Yeah,
The
ooh, yeah.
upper body legs. It's upper body
Yes,
leg
just
day
get
today.
pump. Oh, I do like that.
Upper
And then
body
get
leg day.
yeah,
Yeah.
'cause, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, yeah, it's like, 10 days out or whatever it is. So, we will see. I don't know. But,
How are you feeling about it? Are you looking forward to it?
yeah, I think so. I'm not nearly as excited or anxious as I was last year. Um, I think it's just kinda like I haven't even booked my hotel yet or anything. I'm like, "Crap, I haven't done any of the logistics planning." Um, but I think it's also because 'cause I've done it now and I'm a little bit more comfortable. I don't have to, like, overly stress about it. I did this last weekend was my last long run. I did 16 miles, um, and I did it it was in the mountains in my parents' house. It was, like, 30 degrees out. It was freaking cold, but it was like a 2,000 feet elevation change, and it kicked my ass. But I
It's
ran it
altitude training.
yeah, and it's flat here where I live, so, like, I haven't ran hills at all, but I ran at the same pace that I ran last year's marathon, 750, um, which made me feel like, okay, if I'm on a flat course, I can definitely run
Be a
faster.
breeze.
Yeah, hopefully, that's the plan. It's just, like, there's so much risk to reward, like, I wanna really send it, but it's like, I'll play it safe and run the first 3 miles slow. I just can't run them as slow as I did last year. Last year, I was like, "I'm gonna go slow," but though it was, like, end up being, like, 9-minute miles, and so then by the end, I was running, like, some 6-minute miles to, like, catch up. Um, so I think if I start at, like, 8-minute mile, then I can run some 7:30s and stuff like that, so we'll see. As long as I do better than 3:25, um, I'll be happy, and the environment will be awesome, so that'll be exciting. But then I'm looking forward to the, prep, so that's exciting. The 1 week off in between, and then, we'll get at it. I think it'll just be good being structured again. I've been,
Are
like,
you
very kind of loosey goosey.
Yeah. Are you, like are you really excited? Like, are you thinking like, "Hey, I'm doing the marathon, I got a little bit of time," and, like, I'm excited to start dieting. I'm excited to get, like, do this prep thing to get on stage again? Or is a part of you like, "Oh, man, oh, this," because I'm thinking from your
Yeah.
shoes. Like, I've been thinking, trying to think in your shoes for, like, ever since knowing that you're doing the prep, and, like, I know for me,
Yeah.
like, I was doing the marathon, and I know how tough it is. Like, it's a
Mhm.
huge time investment. Like, long distance running takes a lot of time,
Yeah.
and it takes a ton of energy. It's hard as heck.
Mhm.
And then it's like, so you're doing this really, really hard thing that you're prepping for. You're gonna do the really hard thing. You get a little bit of time off, but then it's
Mhm.
like, to get on stage, we gotta, like, kinda get right to things.
Yeah,
So it's like
yeah.
you get a little break, but it's not, honestly, like, it's not gonna be enough for you to
Not really a
fully.
break, it's like, really, I'm just gonna recover from the run and that's it. Like,
Yeah, pretty much. And it
yeah.
like, even within that break, it I mean, we haven't talked about this, but
Mhm.
it'll probably be important not to, like, go completely off the rails, like, eat a whole bunch
Oh,
of all you can eat
yeah,
Chinese
'cause then
food,
it would be stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm just thinking from your shoes, it's like, okay, I'm doing
Mhm.
this really hard thing. I get a little break where I still have to, like, kind of be not
Keep it
go
under
off the rails
control.
too much,
Yeah.
yeah. And then it's like, "Okay, it's gonna get tough with the prep."
Yeah.
So, like, what how are you feeling as far as
Yeah.
that goes? Because it's tough. Like, again, I'm thinking in your shoes, it's like
Yeah.
that's a slog. That's a
I
long slog.
think, I think I am I wouldn't say like I'm like giddy or anything like that. It's not like I'm like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god." I think I'm ultimately like more excited because I want to win. Like, because I saw how close it was last time and I know how much I messed up. And so like I know that I'm more capable than before. And in some ways, I think it's not easier capable, but it's like it's a different it's like for me, I think my difficulty was like the discipline just to not eat my feelings. Whereas like the marathon to improve in that, it's like putting in a lot of like physical exertion. Like going to the gym and exerting myself is not a problem. Like I still like lifting the weights. For me, I think it's like I'm looking forward to dialing in my diet again because I've kind of let it, especially the last couple weeks. I was trying to cut a little bit and I did. And then I was like, this is getting too difficult and I'm getting too stressed about this with the marathon. Like I'm just gonna these last couple weeks, I'm just gonna eat like how I feel, like to fuel my body. Which I think I've actually gotten better at as well. And I think my um metabolism has gone up some at least, I think as well. So I think, yeah, I think the biggest thing is mentally, I will be exhausted. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And which is difficult because I think that's the first thing that then make you suffer and eat something that you don't want to eat, like is when you're mentally stressed out and stuff. Um, It's so I don't know, like, right now, it almost feels like a going to the gym sometimes has just been like, ugh, just it's, like, monotonous right now. So I'm thinking, like, "Okay, the marathon's gonna be done. I'm gonna lock in our training again. I'm gonna be shooting for, like, new rep ranges, different exercises." Like, I haven't been doing that, so I think that will be exciting, and that will probably get me, like, motivated early on. And then as I start seeing the weight really drop, I think that's just gonna like, okay, now we got it. Kind of like you were saying, like you're seeing like all this progress at the end. Now you're like jazzed up about it. Like I think I'm gonna be able to make a lot of progress quickly, just because I feel like how I am, and that's just gonna reinforce it. And it's such a short amount of time. It's a long time, but it's a short amount of time. Like there's really no room for error, which I think is good for me because I'm a procrastinator, and if I have room for error, I'll allow that error to happen. So yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is just mentally stressed and tired, and like work has been more difficult, but more stressful than last year. Um, but also I think that's because I put off work last year, which then became problematic later. You know what I mean? So like I was kind of like, oh, I'm doing this other stuff and I'm not prioritizing work. So right now I'm like trying to prioritize my job, which I guess is important. But you know, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that answers the question. But
It does.
yeah, I think mentally I'll just be gassed. I think I'm really gonna try to have to focus on sleep. Like last night I went to bed at 8:30 and it felt awesome. Um, that's probably not sustainable for me though, like just depending on what I got going on. But Yeah, it's a lot though. It is a lot, like a
There's a
big
lot.
event and another event. Um, yeah, I don't know, but I'm looking forward back to the structure, back to like some progression, um, seeing the progress cutting down. I'm excited to like practice the posing and everything again. I am excited to when we sit down and talk about it, like what exercises we should do, rep ranges, weights. Like I'm excited to redial that in. Um, because I just kind of been doing junk volume, I almost feel like lately. But
Mhm.
so that'll be good. And I think dialing in that nutrition and seeing the progress will be an exciting thing. So
Yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah.
based off of that, it sounds like one of the key things that's going to keep you getting progressing, getting through the challenge of it is that you are going to see yourself improve. So, like, I know you
Hmm.
mentioned you have the goal of winning,
Hmm.
doing better than your previous prep.
Yeah.
So, like, and getting to see the changes along the way as being
Hmm.
like a main driving factor to,
Yeah. I mean, you can. This is how I perceive it. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but like, I think like because we talked in the past, like the goal necessarily shouldn't be winning, right? Like, there's problematics with that, but I think it's good to push yourself, like especially when you come in second. Like, improving means winning, and it does like what else does it mean? But I like if I get leaner than I was last year, and I continue training hard and retaining my muscle, I definitely think I've built muscle in this last year. There's no way I'm going to look worse. Like, so like in my mind, it's not like in the marathon if I just like hit the wall at mile 22 for whatever reason because I didn't fuel properly or something just cramps up a weird injury where I don't perform
Mhm,
better. Like I feel like there's no way I can't look better. So like for me, like comparing myself to myself, I think I will do what is needed to get there. And then the only thing is like the things I can't control was who else shows up. So as long as
yeah,
I just look better than I did last year, I can be happy with that. But I'm hoping the region I'm in, the amount of competition, like I'm just playing the game of that aspect of it. Like if my
mhm.
competition was that last year, like I think I can beat everyone else there easily. And now Caleb's gone. So it's like unless some other
I'm
new person
next.
comes in. Yeah, like exactly. Kind of like that's what happened with the I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched some of the recap. The guy that lost to Chris Bumstead over and over, he won or something.
Ramon Dino.
Yes, yeah. He
Yeah,
won because he came in second a lot of years, I guess, before that. So now he won. Um, so yeah, so we'll see. I don't know. But I think
yeah.
it's one of those things is like if you ask me like the day after the marathon or the day of, like, I'll be like, yeah, hell yeah, it was awesome, had a great time. I think because I'm right at the end of it, I'm like, it's kind of like right before the show. Like when we talked to Cole, it's like, yeah, I feel like that's what I'm like right now with the marathon stuff. So I'm kind of just like drained.
Yeah.
Um, and then I think I'll be excited. Oh, okay, now I'm starting something new. Like, let's go. I'm ready to go. And I'm sure by like January, I'll be like, didn't get cookies for Christmas, like stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I'll definitely I think no, we'll have one next week and then the one after we'll be able to update about how I crushed it, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. But speaking of communication though, Sam, how can people communicate with you when they want to hire you as a coach? Because I saw you at well, no, there was a special that was gone, right? One time offer was
Yeah,
gone,
it's
so
a
they
flash
missed it.
sale.
They
It's a
missed
flash
it.
sale. Yeah.
Um, but they can still reach out to you and work with you, correct?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for asking. I include for all of these YouTube videos, I include an application in the description below. So for
Nice.
anyone that is listening right now that does happen to be interested or curious about the prospect of working with me, you can click on the link and I'll give you a description of the kind of work that I do and how I can help you. And you can use that to fill out a super quick little application for a free video consultation with me. So, for anyone that is thinking about that, pretty easy.
Yes.
I tried to make it as easy as possible. So you
Hey,
could consider doing that.
yeah, and for everyone, Sam is an awesome communicator. I know we talked a lot about communication today. Um, very, very responsive. So very nice. He's not mean at all.
I gotta be, I gotta be meaner. I don't want a
Yeah.
reputation for being the nice guy, the nice coach. I don't want that.
Yeah, next time
You're
I'll be like, "Oh, he made me cry." Just but
like the pendulum swung a little too far there.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So
Cool.
awesome, man. No, I think it was good.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I
Well,
appreciate it.
you can think of anything else? Any other big points you want to talk about? You want to dive
No, I
into?
think
I think we got a
yeah, I think
lot.
it was good. I think we talked a lot about the communication. I think it's key.
Yeah,
Society will be better if people just communicate better.
I think so too. We need to stop worrying so much about fitting into a box and conforming into everyone else's belief system and just tolerating each other's beliefs. Like we
Mhm.
can, it's a,
Mhm.
like some things are true and some things are not true. And I think it's
Yeah.
okay to try to get to the bottom of what's actually true.
Yeah. I think we're all more alike than we think we are. We just join our little tribes and our cliques and stuff, but like you get to know someone, you don't talk anything about politics, religion, or anything else, and then that comes up later and you're like, "Oh, we we disagree, but like yet we've been boys for like years." You know, also like that doesn't change our relationship. So I think we read too much into that at face value. Um, so
Cool
yeah.
beans.
Cool.
Well, we'll leave it here. Thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed our conversation, which spanned a variety of different topics, including communication and saying what's actually on your mind. If you enjoyed it, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. It really helps Zach and I out. And if you have any thoughts or feedback, drop a comment. That also is helpful for us. It helps the algorithm. And
Yeah.
also, it's nice to kind of talk with the community. So consider
Communicate to
doing that.
us. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Tell us what you think, truthfully, what you're really thinking.
Yeah, we won't screen it or block it or just
Yeah,
if you
we're gonna
troll
turn
us,
the
be
comments off.
prepared.
Yeah,
Yeah.
comments off. But yeah,
So,
thanks everyone, and thank you, Zach.
thank you.